Well, welcome to the Warm Truth, y'all. Today we will be talking about confidence and identity. Right, Kim?
Yes. So sit back, relax, and maybe you'll hear something that you resonate with.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to start off with a deep question already. How would you describe yourself in one sentence without using job, any of your titles, and your role?
That's a good question. That's tough because we all identify as like something.
We all
Uh,
identify as something.
a rock. Um, I want to say creative, but that's still a title and a link to like what I do. Um, I would love to say whimsical, but I don't think I'm as whimsical as like I think I am.
You can
But
always tailor it to what you think or your point of view of whimsical is. I know there's a definition for it, but I think when people think of whimsical, there's different ideas.
yeah, I think of like fairy,
Yes,
freedom.
we're here. Yeah, yeah.
Yup, yup. Like I just think of I don't know. I think I'm just like here, present, or what did I say? Binocular.
Binoculars. Oh.
I'm just here observing the world around me. I think I'm just here. I'm just present. Um, and I think ultimately what my answer is showing all of us is that it's kind of hard to define. Like and that a lot of our identity is probably tied up into what we do day to day in corporate or what we do outside of work, whether it's like being a mom, a daughter, whoever, creative. But I don't know. What about you? I may have to circle back. I don't know.
I feel like identity is a construct. No.
Oh,
I don't know. I think at this point in life, and you said it, you can be whoever you want. It sounds cheesy. I know we grow up. You could be whoever, wherever you want. Um, but identity is relative. It's where you are in the moment, who you want to be in the moment, and it's ever changing. And I
absolutely.
feel like that's something I learned right now in this age bracket I'm in, compared to when I was younger. I
Mm,
can't sum it up in a sentence on my identity or who I am. It's
yeah,
forever changing, forever evolving,
for
forever
sure.
growing what I need to be for myself in the moment.
Kind of niche a little bit, but like I struggled the longest in like identifying as a Christian or a believer. Um, of course, I grew up deep Southern Baptist, and it was, I was in church all the time. I had to wear skirts. And I think I shared in one of my makeup videos that I'm like, it just felt like a scene, like, because I grew up in a small church, so it's like wooden pews, the pastor's right here, the choir's right here, so everybody just looking at you, and it's just a small church, so it's like everybody could see you, like, and I was just like, it just, it was just like a lot, and I definitely have lived life long enough to experience something greater than myself. I still call it God. I do believe in God. Um, but in conversations, I don't identify as a Christian because I do think that like Christians or the reputation of Christians do have a bad rap. And also, I think I'm just like, or I strive to be a little more open minded, not than the average Christian. I don't want to generalize it, but definitely more open minded than what I saw Christianity to be. And I just didn't think I really kind of fit in with Christianity in the way that I grew up in it. Because I just felt like I was a critical thinker. And sometimes I feel like you follow religion blindly. So, yeah, and I just think it could be quite harmful to women if, like, I'm really getting down to it. And I just feel like it's an extension of patriarchy and also just an extension of I don't want to say this. I need to say this part for Patreon. But
Ooh.
like in some ways keeping black people obedient. And it's tough, and I think it's nuanced, and I'm just like, well, why this? What does this mean? And I feel like every time I asked my mom questions when I was a kid, she was like, it's just because we believe it. I'm like, girl, that don't even make sense. Like, let's really think about it. And so I felt like I always struggled. I remember when I went to college and my mom was like, you need to be in church, you need to be in church, you need to be tithing, you need to be tithing. And I'm like, girl, for what? Like, because it's like, we know in present time, we know the money goes to people, right? It's not, getting sucked up to the Lord, right? Like, you know, and so I'm just like, why am I giving my money to people? Like, I need this money, or like,
Yes,
I
yes.
want it. So for a
Well, that's the
while,
building fund, you
yeah,
know?
I just didn't like understand the concept of like tithing. Like, I understood the concept of it, but the reality and the concept just didn't like line up. And I'm like, because I grew up with nothing, so I felt like my mom would like give money to the church when like we probably needed it. I can't speak for her, but that's just how I felt.
Right.
And so in my head, I'm just like, why are we giving money to these people? Because you will always hear about people like misappropriating funds, and the pastor riding the Benz and we riding our little hoopty. And so in my head, that just like never made sense. And my mom just like put a lot of pressure on me. And like even now, she's like, you need to go back to church. You need to go to church. You need to be praying. Da, da, da. Or like if I be cussing, she's like, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. I'm like, God knew who I was. Like I'll throw a verse at her. Like he knew who I was when I was in the womb. So it's just like that. But I feel like I said, I'm a believer. I like, still listen to gospel music, and like I'll still listen to sermons like here and there. But because I made it what I wanted it to be for myself, I feel like I'm closer to God. And I feel like he's probably, I don't want to say he's moved more mountains now than previously, but I feel way more free and confident in God versus believing in something that I didn't really know or was just told to believe in. The other thing is that I feel like religion, not that it keeps you from working, but it's like you expect a miracle. But there's also the Bible verse where it's like, I don't know word for word, but it's like you got to help God help you. And I feel like when I kind of got out of that mindset and started working a little harder and being more intentional about my goals, I feel like he moved quicker, if that makes sense. But it's just really interesting. Yeah, it is really interesting. I'm not even sure I have the words for it, but number one, it's like I want to believe in myself, but I can also believe in someone else. It's not either or. And I feel like religion teaches you to not depend on yourself whatsoever and to constantly yield
Not
to
lean
other
into your own
people.
understanding, yeah.
Yeah, and yield to leadership and stuff. And sometimes we smarter than the other people. So it's just like so complex and just like so complicated, I think, especially someone who's from the South. Because the reality is, I don't want to say it's in my blood, but it's just like what we learned and like what was instilled in you as a kid, right? Like that's going to be with you forever. And so I do find comfort for sure in some of those things, but also now that I'm on the other side, I feel like maybe I'm too worldly for church. Even though I know I'm a good person, and even though I may feel like not that I'm better than other people, but kind of like, am I good enough to be there? But in my head, it's like, well, I know I am because I'm intentional, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like I used to go to small groups and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I would love to just go back to a community, because being around people who want to, be good people is probably better than people who are just like not even trying to be good people. But I just know in those small group settings, I'm not going to agree with some shit, and I'm going to be like, and I don't want to say nothing and be like, girl, open your mind. Like, God not going to do that for you. But also, I'm sure part of that is like trauma, because it was like, God gonna be your mother, your father. And God cannot come sit down on my bed and give me a hug and wipe these tears away when I'm crying. God can't give me no money, right? Like, he not my daddy. Like, he can't never be that man. And my daddy ain't even doing what he supposed to do. So in my head, I'm just like, that was a lie, and
Physically, in a sense, he can't be there, but we do know he does provide. There's things that align in your life, and you started off by saying that only but God could do that. And I would like to touch on this because I think that's another layer of identity. And I think if we take away religion being the identity, I think for us culturally is where we would be able to have our own understanding and our own relationship with the God we serve. And I am a believer. I believe in God. I believe He died on the cross for our sins. I believe in it. Having the understanding of where church came from, as far as it being a community and being our safe haven for when we were in slavery, and how we could only be ourselves at that moment and really put behind us for just that 1 hour or 2 hours or just that Sunday, and really be with our community, our people, eat our food, do whatever it was, meet, organize,
Fellowship.
fellowship, but also organize in the sense of protesting and getting things done for us. Like the church has been that for our community. Unfortunately, like you said, there are people that get into that stand that are not of God. And it does give those in our religion a bad rep. And you have a lot of people that have been hurt, that people have been masking themselves as of God or coming from God. And it's a deep layer of hurt. And I do appreciate how I was brought up. I wasn't forced to go to church. Just going through life, I mean, I have my relationship with God. It's people who do hurt people through God, and I just always pray that people find God for themselves and how God helps them outside of the church. I mean, the church is always great, and it is a home, it is a community to go to. But identity part of it, I think if we can separate that a little bit, I think that would help